Hiber-Nation 27. Grizzly's Growls presents Stories from a Hiber-Nation. A handy guide for beggars, especially those of the poetic fraternity, by Vachel Lindsay. Part 2. A Mendicant Pilgrimage in the East. The old gentleman with the lantern, and the people of his household. Part 6. Conferences. The grandfather called me into the front room and handed me a book. "You're a scholar. What do you think of that?" It was a history of the county. The frontispiece was a portrait of Judge somebody, but the book naturally opened at about the 10th page, and on an atrocious engraving of this goodly old man and his not ill-looking wife. He breathed easier when I found it. It was plainly a basis of family pride. I read the inscription. "So you two are the oldest inhabitants." "The oldest perpetual inhabitants. I was born in this county, and I have never left it. My wife is some younger, but she has never left it since she married me." Even the old lady grew civil. She tapped a brooch near her neck. "They gave me this breastpin at last old settler's picnic." Old man continued, "All the farm is still here in our hands, but mostly rented. It brings something. Our biggest income's from our son's well digging. He never speculates, and he makes money." It seemed a part of the old man's pride to have even the passing stranger realize they were well fixed. In a furtive attempt to do justice to their station in life, they had a tall clock in one corner, quite new and beautiful. And, as I discovered later, there was upstairs a handsome bathroom. The rest of that new house was clean and white, but helplessly Spartan. The old folk were called to the back porch. At the same time I heard the mother say, "Show the men your doll," and in came the little daughter like thistledown. We were in that white room at opposite ends of the long table, and nothing but the immaculate cloth stretching between us. She sat with the doll clutched to her breast, looking straight into my eyes, the doll staring at me also. The girl was such a piece of bewitchment that the poem I brought to her about the magical tree of laughing bells seemed tame to me, and every day. That foolish rhyme was soon read and put into her hands. It seemed to give her an infinite respect for me, and any human creature loves to be respected. On the back porch the talk grew louder. "Papa's telling them he wants to rent the rest of the farm and move us all to town," explained Gretchen. It was the soft voice of the young wife we heard. "Of course it will be nice to be near my church." And then the young father's voice, "And I don't want Gretchen to grow up on the farm." And the old man's voice, still nobly in tone, "And as I say, I don't want to be stubborn, but I don't want to cross the county line." Gretchen banged the door on them, and we crossed the county line indeed. We told each other fairy tales, while the unheeded murmur of the debate went on. When it came Gretchen's turn, she alternated Grimm and Hans Andersen and the legends of the Roman Church. I had left the railroad resolved to talk someone to death, and as now with all my heart I was listening. She knew the tales I had considered my special discoveries in youth. The Amber Witch, the Enchanted Horse, the Two Brothers. She also knew that most pious narrative, Elsie Dinsmore. She approved when I told her I had found it not only sad, but helpful in my spiritual life. She had found it just so in hers. Part 7. The Spare Room. With her eyes still flashing from argument, the grandmother took me upstairs. She gave me a big bath towel and showed me the bathroom and also my sleeping place. I asked her about the holy pictures hanging near my bed. She explained in a voice that endeavored not to censure. My daughter-in-law is of German Catholic descent, and she is still Catholic. Well, what is your denomination? I asked. My husband and son and I are Congregationalists. She did not ask it of me, but I said, I am what is sometimes disrespectfully called a Campbellite. But the old lady was gone. After a boiling bath, I lay musing under those holy pictures. My brother of the road, when they put you in the best room, as they sometimes do, you look at the white counterpane and the white sheets and the cozy appointments. Do you take these brutally, or do you think long upon their intrinsic generosity of God and man? I have laid hold of hospitality coldly and greedily in my time, but this night at least I was thankful. And as I turned my head in a new direction, I was thankful most of all for the unexpected presence of the Mother of God. There was her silvery statue near the foot of my bed, the moonlight pouring straight in upon it through the wide window. It spoke to me of peace and virginity. I thought how many times in Babylon I had gone into the one ever-open church to look on the crowned image of the Star of the Sea. Though I am no servitor of Rome, I have only adoration for virginity, be it carved in motionless stone or in marble that breathes and sings. A long, long time I lay awake while the image glimmered and glowed. The clock downstairs would strike its shrill bell, and in my heart a censer swung. Thanks for listening to Stories from the Hiber-Nation. Comment on the website at grizzly.libsyn.com. This program is sponsored by donations from people like you and is released with a Creative Commons Attribution, Non-Commercial, No Derivatives license.